At a dinner party, I accidentally bumped into my sister-in-law. When she noticed, her face turned red with rage, and she immediately confronted me. Then she grabbed a vase from the table and hit me on the head, right in front of everyone. My brother sided with her, and at that moment I decided on getting revenge and planned to call the authorities. But before they arrived, something unexpected happened that changed everything. My name is Sarah Williams, and I'm a 31-year-old human resources manager living in a comfortable apartment in Seattle, Washington. I have always been drawn to the city, the dynamic culture, the vibrant tech scene, and the warmth of the community that echoes through every neighborhood. My job keeps me involved, and I take pride in my role. But the most cherished connection in my life is with my younger brother, Adam. Growing up, Adam and I were always close. He was the little brother I had wished for, and we shared numerous adventures together. I remember creating forts from blankets and wandering around the backyard for hours, lost in our imaginary realms. As he matured, our bond only grew stronger. I had always believed that nothing could separate us, especially when he began dating. When Adam introduced me to his girlfriend, Nicole, I was excited. She seemed ideal for him, charming, witty, and fun. The first time we met was at a family event. I remember watching Adam's eyes light up as he talked to her, and I couldn't help but feel a sense of joy. It was wonderful to see him so content. "Sarah, you're going to love her," he had said, practically glowing. "She's fantastic." As the evening unfolded, Nicole lived up to his praise. She had a magnetic aura that drew everyone in. We laughed, exchanged stories, and I felt an overwhelming happiness. This was the woman my brother had chosen, and I couldn't have been more thrilled. But as time passed, something felt off. Initially, I dismissed it as adjusting to sharing my brother with someone else. However, it soon became evident that Nicole had a darker side. At gatherings, she often made subtle snide remarks that made me feel small. One Easter, I brought my homemade apple pie, a recipe from our grandmother. When dessert was served, Nicole casually said, "Oh, I thought I was handling dessert this year." The way she said it, with a sweet tone hiding the sting, made me force a smile. "Must have slipped my mind," I replied, warmth spreading up my cheeks. As the months passed, her comments got harsher. "Still alone, Sarah? You should consider dating. It might brighten your mood," she quipped during one dinner. I felt my heart drop, the jab piercing through my defenses. I tried to brush it off, thinking she was just playing around, but with every event, Nicole's words grew more pointed, and I felt increasingly isolated. I confided in my best friend, Aaron, one night while we grabbed coffee. "Aaron, something's wrong with Nicole," I confessed, stirring my cup anxiously. At first, I thought she was perfect, but now she's different. "Different in what way?" Aaron asked, raising an eyebrow. "She makes comments that appear harmless, but they're like tiny insults. It's as if she's trying to tear me down," I admitted, frustration bubbling. "Have you told Adam about this?" I hesitated, thinking of my brother's affection for her. "I don't want to create issues. He's really in love." "Sarah, you can't ignore this. You deserve respect and peace in your own family," Aaron insisted, concern evident. I nodded, knowing he was right, but the thought of confrontation made my stomach churn. Days turned into weeks, and Nicole's behavior only escalated. She began meddling in my relationship with Adam, deleting messages or not informing me of family plans. I felt like I was losing my brother, and the worst part was feeling utterly powerless. Finally, everything came to a head during another family dinner at our parents' home. I arrived early to help, and as everyone gathered, I sat in a spot I thought was available. But when Nicole entered and saw me, her face twisted with fury. "Excuse me, that's my spot," she snapped. I blinked, confused. "I didn't realize there was a reserved seat for you." Her eyes narrowed and the room tensed. "It's always been mine. You should know that by now." Everyone was watching, my pulse quickening. "It's just a chair, Nicole. Let's not overreact," Adam interjected, trying to ease the tension. But Nicole wasn't backing down. "No, Sarah's always trying to take everything from me, always trying to overshadow me." I felt the weight of her words. "I'm not trying to take anything. I just sat down." Before I could process it, the atmosphere became thick with hostility. I braced myself for the storm brewing, completely unaware of just how deeply this moment would affect our family and my relationship with Adam. The aftermath was chaotic. My mind raced with disbelief as I tried to grasp what had just occurred. Nicole's accusations echoed in my head. I had always seen family as a refuge, but now it felt like a battlefield. After the dinner, Adam reached out. His message read, *, "Can we talk? Nicole feels awful about what happened. *. I sighed, knowing he was trying to smooth things over. I wanted to respond with a clever remark, but settled for, *, "Sure, I'd like to talk too, *. We met in a park that weekend, the sun shining brightly, but I felt a dark cloud hanging over us. Adam looked tense as he approached, brows furrowed. "Sarah, I'm really sorry about what happened. Nicole didn't mean for it to get out of hand." I wanted to believe him, but my words felt heavy. "Adam, it's not just about that. It's the way she treats me, the hurtful comments." His shoulders slumped. "I know she can be intense, but you have to understand, she's under a lot of pressure. Can't we avoid conflict?" Disappointment surged through me. "Avoiding it won't solve anything, Adam. I feel like she's pushing me out of your life, and I don't want that." His eyes softened, torn. "I promise I'll talk to her. Just give it some time." Weeks went by, and things only got worse. I noticed Nicole becoming more confrontational. One afternoon at a barbecue, she sidled up and said, "So Sarah still alone? Maybe you're too picky." I felt heat creep up my cheeks. "I'm just focused on my career." "Right, because that's working out so well." She snickered, her laughter grating. After that, I confided in Aaron more, desperate for advice. "It's like I'm walking on eggshells," I told him one evening at our go-to cafe, the scent of coffee heavy in the air. "Maybe look into her background. There has to be a reason for her behavior," Aaron suggested. I hesitated, weighing my options. I don't want to invade her privacy. What if it makes things worse? "Sometimes you need to understand your opponent to protect yourself," he replied firmly. His determination made me reconsider. After much debate, I dug into Nicole's past. It didn't take long to find unsettling details, mentions of toxic relationships and restraining orders. My heart pounded. What had my brother gotten himself into? I shared this with Aaron. "She has a troubling past. It might explain her behavior." Aaron nodded, serious. "You need to confront Adam with this. He has to know." That evening, I invited Adam for dinner. I hoped the comfort of a home-cooked meal would ease the tension. When he arrived, I noticed the worry on his face. "Thanks for coming. I made your favorite, spaghetti carbonara," I said, trying to lighten the mood. "Thanks, Sarah. It smells wonderful," he replied, but his eyes were clouded. Once we sat, I took a deep breath. "Adam, we need to talk about Nicole again." His face darkened. "I thought we agreed to let things cool," Adam said, his voice tight. "I wish we could," I replied, heart pounding. "But I found out some things, Adam. I don't think you really know who she is." I revealed everything: her past relationships, restraining orders, and her attempts to sabotage my work. "She's been spreading rumors about me, and I can't let her hurt you too." Adam's expression shifted as my words sank in. "I don't know what to think, Sarah. This is a lot." Before he could say more, a loud knock startled us. We exchanged worried glances. "Who could it be?" he murmured. I shrugged, unease growing as he opened the door. A wave of apprehension hit me. Standing there was Nicole, her face flushed with anger and something else, fear. We need to talk, she demanded. Adam glanced back at me, torn. We were in the middle of a conversation. She ignored me, her eyes locked on him. She's poisoning you against me. My pulse quickened. I'm just trying to protect him, Nicole. Protect? You mean control. I know your type, Sarah, she spat, stepping closer. Enough. Adam cut in, visibly shaken. Nicole, this isn't the time. She turned on me, her voice venomous. You think you can just waltz in and ruin my life. I'm not trying to ruin anything. I want peace. Peace. You're tearing us apart. Rage twisted her features, and in a blur she snatched a vase from the table and swung it at me. I stumbled back, stunned as pain exploded across my forehead. Adam's eyes widened in shock. Nicole, stop. I touched the spot, feeling a bruise forming, tears stinging my eyes. You can't do this. You've been manipulating everyone, trying to turn him against me. Adam stepped between us, his voice shaking. This isn't okay, Nicole. You can't treat Sarah like this. I breathed a sigh of relief, grateful he was standing up for me. But as I looked at Nicole, I realized just how deep her bitterness ran. The situation had spiraled beyond anything I could have imagined. Suddenly, sirens wailed outside, and panic flickered in Nicole's eyes. What's happening? She whispered. Adam frowned, the tension thick. Someone must have called. As the police officers entered, I stood frozen, disbelief washing over me. One officer addressed her. Ma'am, we need to talk. We received a report of an altercation. Nicole's face turned pale. I didn't do anything. You attacked my sister, Adam cut in. The officers exchanged glances and my heart sank. We need statements, one of them said. I steadied myself, recounting her aggression and how she had been isolating me. Adam's face fell, a mix of regret and disbelief. I didn't want this, Sarah, he murmured. You need to see how dangerous she is, I replied softly. The officers stepped aside, speaking quietly. I turned to Adam, my voice low. Please see how toxic she is. I'm scared for you. He ran a hand through his hair, conflicted. I love her, Sarah. I just need time. Before I could respond, the officers returned. Ma'am, we're placing you under arrest for assault. Nicole's eyes widened, panic seizing her. No, it's just a misunderstanding. She struggled as they cuffed her. I watched, a mix of relief and sadness washing over me as they led her away. I looked at Adam, his face pale. I can't believe this, he whispered, his voice breaking. I know it's hard, but her behavior isn't normal. She's been manipulating you, Adam, I said gently. Reality settled around us as the car drove off. In the weeks that followed, the fallout was brutal. Nicole was charged and sentenced. The impact on Adam was immense. Anger, betrayal, sorrow. Amid the pain, I focused on rebuilding our bond. Slowly, he began to see her true nature. Aaron supported me throughout, his steady presence a lifeline. One evening, as we sat together, he took my hand. You're strong, Sarah. I'm proud of you. Thank you, Aaron. I couldn't have done this without you, I murmured, gratitude swelling. Reflecting on the ordeal, I realized I'd learned valuable lessons about strength, loyalty, and standing up for myself. I had confronted a toxic situation and emerged stronger. Gazing out at the Seattle skyline, I felt a renewed sense of hope. I was ready for whatever came next, knowing I had the power to shape my life and protect those I loved. Life was mine to mold, and I was prepared to move forward. Weeks passed since Nicole's arrest, and the fallout continued to weigh heavily on our family. Adam was distant and struggled to come to terms with what had happened. While I hoped the space would allow him to see things more clearly, I worried that Nicole's absence would only deepen his sense of guilt and loss. One day he called me. Sarah, can we meet? There's something I want to talk about. My heart raced with anticipation. Of course, let's meet at the park near your place. When I arrived, Adam looked weary. His shoulders slumped as if he carried the weight of the world. As we walked, he cleared his throat. "Sarah, I need to apologize," he began softly. "I should have seen it sooner. I should have listened to you." Tears stung my eyes. "Adam, it's not your fault. You were in love, but love isn't supposed to blind you like this. I feel like I let you down, and I let myself down." He paused, taking a deep breath. "I've been going to therapy since everything happened. My therapist has helped me see things clearly. I kept holding on because I was scared of what it meant to let go. I was scared of being alone again." I reached out, placing a hand on his arm. "You're never alone, Adam. I'll always be here." His eyes met mine, a flicker of hope shining through the pain. "I know, and that's why I want to make amends. I've decided to press charges against Nicole for the harassment and manipulation she put us through. It's the only way to truly move forward." I stared at him, taken aback by his resolve. "Are you sure? That's a big step." "Yes," he nodded firmly. "She needs to be held accountable, and I need to rebuild myself without her shadow looming over my life." "It's time to let go," I whispered, hugging Adam tightly, feeling a mix of pride and relief. "I'm so proud of you." With Adam's decision to file charges against Nicole, things began to change. He cited harassment, emotional abuse, and assault. The legal proceedings were intense, but for the first time in a long while, I saw my brother standing up for himself. It was painful but necessary, and he was surrounded by support, our parents, Aaron, and me. During the trial, Nicole's toxic behavior was laid bare for everyone to see. Testimonies from her previous relationships confirmed a pattern of manipulation and violence, and she could no longer hide behind her charm. When the verdict came, the judge ruled in favor of a restraining order, ensuring she would stay out of Adam's life permanently. As the gavel struck, Nicole's face remained emotionless, but when she glanced at me, I saw a flash of hatred. A shiver ran down my spine. Despite her legal loss, I knew she wasn't truly defeated. It would be naive to think otherwise, but I was prepared. I had faced her wrath once before, and I wouldn't let it consume my family again. Adam, on the other hand, was finally free. In the months that followed, I watched him heal. He reconnected with old friends, rediscovered hobbies, and focused on himself. Our relationship blossomed anew, and I was grateful every day to have my brother back. One evening, as we sat in a small cafe sipping hot chocolate, Adam turned to me, his expression earnest. "Thank you, Sarah, for never giving up on me." I smiled softly. "We're family, Adam. That's what family does." It took a long time, but our family found its rhythm again. Adam moved into a new apartment, free of painful memories, and began volunteering at a local community center, finding solace in helping others. Our parents, once hesitant to step in, became more involved and supportive, ensuring Adam never felt isolated again. As for me, I channeled the lessons I'd learned into my own life. I focused on building healthier relationships and leaned on Aaron, who had been my rock through it all. Slowly, our friendship evolved into something deeper. One crisp autumn morning, as we strolled through a bustling farmer's market, Aaron took my hand in his. "You know, I've always admired your strength, Sarah," he murmured, his voice steady and warm. "I want to be there for you like you've always been for others." My heart swelled. "You already are, Aaron. I couldn't ask for more." We walked together, the promise of something new and beautiful blooming between us, and as I looked ahead, I realized that my life, once overshadowed by a toxic presence, was now filled with light, love, and the strength I had always possessed. Life, as unpredictable as it was, had given me the opportunity to rebuild, and I was determined to embrace every moment. I had learned that true power comes not from holding on to what hurts, but from letting go, healing, and choosing to fight for peace.